The following special presentation of your Hometown Health Connection Community Conversations, Heal, Talk, Act, is presented by Buffalo Healthy Living Magazine with support from the Buffalo Federation of Neighborhood Centers, Karamia Pet Resort, Circuit Clinical, Endeavor Health Services, Medical Society of the County of Erie, the National Federation for Just Communities, People Incorporated, Community Services for Everyone, Horizon Health Services, Spectrum Health and Human Services, Best Self Behavioral Health, and WBBZ-TV.
Hello, I'm Sandy White with John Sciullo. As we continue to process the effects of the racially motivated shooting that took place on May 14th, we also continue to learn more about and reflect on the pressing needs of our community.
One of the critical issues is access to food and affordable housing. Now, as one recent guest put it, it is impossible to survive without these basic needs. Did you know in 2017, a report by the Partnership for Public Good found that more than half of Buffalo's households could not afford their rent, and they were facing increasing challenges with urban poverty skyrocketing. So on this edition of Community Conversations, we're going to hear from Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown, and in studio, Rhonda Frederick and Brad Watts of People Incorporated, and they're going to be talking about this very important topic. Sandy.
It's very important. Now, People Inc. is a multi-specialty nonprofit health and human service agency, providing programs and services to more than 12,000 people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, families, and older adults to live healthier, more independent and productive lives. Services are provided throughout Western New York and the greater Rochester region. Now, Rhonda Frederick is President and Chief Executive Officer, and Bradford Watts is Associate Vice President of Community Relations and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Both are passionate about the agency's mission and are longtime agency employees.
So in addition, we're also going to hear from the Honorable Byron Brown, Mayor of Buffalo, 62nd Mayor, by the way. Now, he's been a champion of the city's revival and has a vision that embraces inclusiveness, equity, and opportunity. Mayor Brown's leadership has resulted in thousands of new jobs, projects all across Western New York and the city, and reducing taxes. He's a founding member of the Greater Buffalo Racial Equity Roundtable, working to advance racial equity, promoting the change that is required to accelerate a shared regional prosperity. Now, we're going to hear from the mayor in just a little bit, and all about his ideas for affordable housing. And of course, I'm pleased to join our co-host for the program, Sandy White.
Always glad to be with you.
Award-winning news reporter and anchor who's worked everywhere in Buffalo and LA, by the way, and the current president of Mustard Seed World Consulting Group, and does a great job on the Alzheimer's Association.
Happy to be with you always.
So Sandy, you lead us off here with our show.
Sure, we're going to go directly to Rhonda, who's sitting here with us. I'd like to know a little bit more about affordable housing, Rhonda, and it's such an important aspect of what People Inc. does. Why was it started, Rhonda?
Oh, thank you, and thank you for having us today. Probably close to 30 years ago, we were approached by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. They had seen our work in housing individuals with disabilities and needed some new developers in the senior housing realm. So they came to us and said, what do you think about doing this? And we were so fortunate to have a board of directors who embraced that idea and just let us go with that. So over the next 25 years, we developed 19 senior housing communities in Western New York. So if you see a building that has the name of a flower or a tree, that is People Inc.'s. So did that for a long time, and unfortunately that funding dried up. But the state of New York, very smart in its wisdom, had a new program, tax credit program, to do integrated housing, to have housing for, it didn't necessarily, could be seniors or could be general population, but layering people of different socioeconomic status. So you would run through different folks. Rents would be based on income, and we've been able to develop in that realm. We have 8 projects around Western New York.
Very important projects. I know, Rhonda, you've been with People Inc. For a fair amount of time, and that's terrific.
Correct.
And People Inc. is one of the largest, if not the largest, provider of services in Western New York. And Brad and I go back to the Channel 7 days, so I want to ask you, Brad, because of your involvement with the community, where are we in terms of affordable housing? Where are we in the respect of what's available, not only with apartments, but also with homes that people can purchase?
John, Sandy, thank you so much for having us here today. When we look at in terms of the need, I think Rhonda says it best, that we look for the opportunity with partnerships and develop the relationships which allow for us to create these inclusive opportunities. With that, it's usually working along with some of our grassroots organizations. A lot of times meeting with our Rotary clubs, chambers of commerce, business associations, block clubs. Hearing from the community is vital. And so a lot of what we do at People Inc., not only in terms of the services we provide, but an opportunity to be inclusive and open to the conversations that need to be had. Some of them very disheartening, some of them very hard to have, but that is something that we've been able to produce and develop over the course of the years that we've been in operation. And it bodes well in terms of what we've done in the city as well. Nothing makes us happier than to work with our wonderful and esteemed mayor, who has allowed for us to have community conversations, work with local development organizations and groups. When the developers come to the table, we bring organizations and groups at the grassroots level, like our concerned clergy organizations that will come in. We work along with any types of entrepreneurs that may be in the neighborhood and community, and the discussions go from there. We know that there's a need. We spoke earlier when we were talking a little bit in terms of it's good to have availability for you to go ahead and rent, but there's also an importance for us to develop the opportunity for ownership as well.
Makes the neighborhood stronger when people own their homes.
Exactly. So those are part of some of the things that we have we talk about, we discuss, and it bodes well in terms of our entire region throughout Western New York and the Rochester area that we encompass.
Some really good news, and when we say people, people on many levels, and you're bringing them all to the table. Focusing on People Inc. Incorporated on Jefferson Avenue, which is very exciting, what's been happening there in Buffalo. Rhonda and Brad, can you tell us how it all started? Because it seemed from one day there was nothing, and the next day there was transformation. Tell us a little bit about that and that process.
We are so thrilled to talk about our project, our Jefferson Avenue apartments. Started with an idea, working with Nick Sinatra Companies, working with CSS Construction, David Pollack. They got me in the car one day and said, come on, let's go for a drive, we want to show you something. And took me down on Jefferson Avenue between Northampton, Southampton, Dodge.
Yes.
Came in and said, we can put these properties together. Nick had purchased 14 parcels, put them together. We think it's a perfect place to do affordable housing with some commercial space. And from there, it grew. And we met with, I don't know how many community meetings Brad and I went to talk to the neighbors. What do you want to see here? You know, we want to do these beautiful apartments, but what do you need for commercial? You know, what do you want to see? What do you need? HCR, Housing and Community Renewal in New York State, funded us. And there we are with 94 affordable units. We have 20 units that are set aside for individuals with disabilities. It's 2 buildings. It's a true community. People live together, work together, socialize together, and one of the most exciting pieces of that is the public art on the building that, you know, Brad was instrumental on. I think he can do a better job describing it.
It was all due to that opportunity to hear from the community, things that they want to see. When we talked about the commercial space, they were interested in that. A unique perspective to that was the construction They wanted opportunities of job development, and that's something we do quite well at People Inc. And so bringing Nick and Dave into those conversations. In addition, it would behoove us if we did not mention Herbert Bellamy Jr., who is amazing in terms of some of the developments in and along Jefferson. He and the 1490 Enterprises, the work that's done there, helped lead the way towards that discussion that we had with the community. And like Rhonda said, we walked door to door, but then we also brought everyone together. Again, the Johnny B. Wiley Pavilion that's there and still established, the old rock pile.
Major stakeholder.
Yeah,
Yep.
major stakeholder that came to the forefront to allow us to have our community meeting there. We used that same blueprint when we started talking about local artists. We reached out into the community. Former council president James Pitts made a suggestion towards a John Baker and the Western New York Urban Arts Collective group. So we had conversations there, and then we worked together with them, as well as bringing the Albright Knox organization, the City of Buffalo Arts Council, and other stakeholders together to talk about this, and then did an additional community meeting so we could hear from the community. What would you like to see? Nothing makes me happier now that we've got Say Yes underneath a art piece that shows students and children learning.
Yeah. When I drive by, I take a look at it always. The public art just stands out so well. And that's my old neighborhood, so I just really applaud you for what you've been able to accomplish.
So many A-list names. David Rust from Say Yes, he's been here at the
Yes.
station,
Yes.
great guy.
Yes.
Of course, you mentioned other developers, like Nick Sinatra and
Yes.
Herb Bellamy. So another one of those individuals is, of course, Mayor Byron Brown. Now, since the racist shooting, the eyes of the world have been on Buffalo and galvanized on our mayor, I will say. And I recently had a chance to catch up with Byron Brown to get his perspective on the need for affordable housing, apartments, and the connection that he has with People Incorporated. Mr. Mayor, we really appreciate your time, and I know that affordable housing is a very important priority in your administration. Update us on projects like the Pilgrim Village and the other areas of affordable housing, whether it be for home ownership or apartments that you're working on.
Through our Envision Neighborhoods process, through our community outreach processes, we're listening to the residents. We're hearing from them what they want to see built in their neighborhoods, how they want it to look in their neighborhoods. That was what the Green Code was all about. 7 years of listening to people in the city of Buffalo to get to that new zoning code in our city. And as you mentioned, John, with affordable housing, it looks like upscale housing now. I've been into some of the affordable housing developments, many of them, and they are absolutely beautiful. With some affordable housing in Buffalo, you might think you were walking into luxury housing, and that's the way we want it to look.
People Incorporated has been a great partner for us here on the Hometown Health Connection, and I know that they're a great partner with the city as well, because this affordable housing concept is very important for the growth of our region.
Well, first of all, let me say that People Incorporated has been an absolutely phenomenal partner with the City of Buffalo on building affordable housing. We have done a number of projects, many projects with People Incorporated, and they have a commitment to quality housing. They have a commitment to the dignity of all members of our community, and they've been a fantastic partner. Governor Hochul is also a fantastic partner, and Governor Hochul has directed significant streams of funding to the city of Buffalo, to East Buffalo, to neighborhoods in different parts of the city of Buffalo. So it has been a real joy to work with Governor Hochul. Governor Hochul listens. Governor Hochul asks what you need, and significant resources have been directed, but the governor has said even more funding is coming to the city of Buffalo, and so we're very thankful to her for her leadership, her listening, her commitment to the city of Buffalo, and the phenomenal work that she's doing here in our community and communities all across the state of New York.
Well, we're thankful for your leadership too, Mayor Brown. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Have a great rest of the summer with the family.
Thank you. You too. You and your family.
Thank you.
And we want to thank the mayor for his time and hard work to secure affordable housing. Now, Brad, you were instrumental with the community, with the art murals, which we heard about a little bit a few minutes ago. And as I've said, they are gorgeous, just gorgeous. I know many of those artists. And it's so good to see them being utilized in a community project. What was most important when you did move forward with the involvement of the neighborhood?
You know, it's something that's near and dear to my heart. Just as you mentioned earlier, you was talking of being a part of the community. I remember when my dad had a store that was right there at Best in the corner of Jefferson, and I would be allowed at activity of the evening and day to walk to the corner and look down this hill of Jefferson.
Right.
And see all the bustling lights, the activity, just people enjoying, living, shopping, eating, dining, having a good time. Nothing made me so happy that one of our art pieces gave a display to some of those stores and a rendering in terms of what that looked like. And now to be a part of that in terms of what People Inc. is doing now and what we have in our new apartments and the commercial space, it just touches my heart so. I'm so happy, and it has allowed for us to not only set a blueprint, but a precedent for what we can do in our East Side, East Buffalo communities to revitalize, to re-energize, and to look towards the future.
We really do need to see what is happening and the good that is underway. Some of it is almost miraculous when you think about it, about your life and how you went full circle. Rhonda, can you talk to us about the Linwood Avenue
Sure.
Lafayette senior apartments?
Sure, we were part of the renaissance, the revitalization of Millard Fillmore Hospital. Neighborhood there very concerned when the hospital,
Right.
came down, what was going to happen. And we built a apartment complex for seniors, 55 and over. The neighbors there on Linwood, we met with them, very similar to Jefferson. Theirs was a little different. That is a historic block where we are. And they wanted the building to look like the houses on the street. So you drive by Jefferson and you see something very different than you see on Linwood. Both of them, though, I'm so proud to say, have outside porches for every single
I know, I've
apartment.
seen people sitting on their
Love-
porches.
Love that. So we were able to revitalize and be part of that. And similarly, Children's Hospital, we are renovating one of the buildings over there, again, for apartments for older adults. So again, to be part of at the Elmwood Village, very concerned with what was going to happen in that neighborhood when Children's moved on to Main Street.
Right, I remember.
And the neighbors were thrilled, I will say. I'm very happy to report. They were very happy to see us coming in and doing an affordable piece within that whole complex, because there's going to be condos and I believe a hotel and different things. Ours is for seniors and affordable.
And you work with community to make sure it happens.
That's another one. That's our mantra.
You work with the people.
Yeah, it's
We
very
absolutely
important.
We meet the
do.
people. We love to meet the
do.
people.
And the mayor alluded to that, that housing, that's apartment housing, is not what we think of it as being, because now it's being constructed in a way that looks, it fits into the neighborhood.
So
It
true.
makes sense. It looks much more elegant than it ever did. So Brad, tell us about the Mount Olive Baptist Church
Oh,
project.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's
Involving
exciting.
construction of
It's so exciting.
low-income
It's
families.
going to be a part of legacy. We know that we just celebrated the life's work and ongoing
Amazing
passing
leader.
on of Reverend Gillison.
Yes.
But the legacy he leaves is a testament towards his commitment to community.
Absolutely.
The Mount Olive project is going to be an amazing project. Again, meeting the needs of community. We went out again, canvassing the neighborhood, finding out what the needs are, having a community meeting to discuss that. But what it's going to do is, again, bring people together. It's going to be collaborations, it's community coming together to meet needs. And that's one of the most exciting things with Mount Olive.
And you mentioned the faith-based
Community.
connection here.
Yes.
It's very important, isn't it?
Absolutely,
The
absolutely.
churches and the community.
Reverend
continue to work
Gillison
together.
was one of the spearheads.
Quite a
to
visionary,
yes,
wasn't
a
he?
visionary spearheading that concerned clergy group. I always remember him with closing and closing us in prayer at our art commencement ceremony that we had, and our ribbon cutting ceremonies, and just the work to be done. And I mean, he saw this years ago.
And stayed with
and
it,
stayed
stayed the
with it.
course,
Yes.
even
Commitment.
working with the Northland Workforce Training Center,
Absolutely.
praying that through for
Absolutely.
its fruition.
Absolutely.
I mean, what a testament to his life. And we all love and miss him, but it's just beautiful that you're going to have that project moving forward.
Planting seeds, Sandy.
There you
I
go.
know
Yeah.
about that.
Now, if the monitor had a map on it, we're going to throw a dart at the fruit belt, and we're going to see what's happening there. So, Brad, bring us up to date.
Well, you know, Fruit Belt is always bustling with activity. We've got the medical corridor down there, and we've got a group of residents that are quite passionate in terms of the history that's set up in the Fruit Belt. We as People Inc. love to hear and talk with the community more and more of what they have going on. I understand the mayor's got some exciting projects that are taking place down there, and so we're always here to listen, always here to provide services, to work within those areas. We know it's a great connector point to all that we've got going down on the Jefferson Avenue area as well.
Well, and you've got the medical corridor there, and,
Yes.
and so many things.
A lot going on with People Inc. And Rhonda, I have a question for you regarding just working with the other agencies. I mean, you're working with the people, you're working with the leaders. What about the other agencies?
There is such, and this is such an overused word, but synergy
Yes.
between groups. We bring them together, and there's organizations that provide services to people with disabilities. We're working right now with the Resource Council, who are on East Ferry. They're going to be actually having offices
What
in
a
our Jefferson
partnership
Avenue.
that is.
Yes.
Fantastic. We're so thrilled. They're boots on the ground to be talking to the neighbors in Jefferson with a lot of the things that the state is going to bring forward. The mayor's office, we talk about, they have been a part of our planning. They're also a part of our financing. They've
Yes.
been great partners with grants and making sure our projects come to fruition. There's always that the end of the project where I have to make this work, and the city comes through. So organizations, the Urban League, working with Thomas Buford, and we're there, we're a part of it, and I think that's
Yeah.
that's who we are.
Yeah.
And as I think about when you're talking, we have 4,000 employees.
4,000?
Many of them live in that area.
In that area.
That's important to them. We serve 12,000 people a year. How many people we serve and support? Either older adults, individuals with disabilities, and their families are part of the city neighborhoods.
I marvel at how you can coordinate all of this, and you talk about
Right.
it
She's amazing.
with such detail, and you get to know your.
We have
You have Brad.
Brad?
there.
Oh,
He
okay.
worries about the details, right? And Rhonda.
I've got Rhonda.
Yeah.
We've got people.
And the people have people.
People.
That's right.
We have a great team, and we've spent many years working this
Yeah.
through,
And
and we're
you
thrilled
come from
to
it
be
from a
able to-
position of love. You can see that.
Absolutely.
And I think that position of love brings in that other energy that makes these things
Sure.
happen. So thank you so much for what you're doing in our community in Western New York. And we're a little bit out of time.
We're out of time, Sandy, for this edition of our Community Conversation. Of course, I want to thank Rhonda Frederick and Brad Watts from People Incorporated, Mayor Byron Brown for taking some time out of his busy schedule. Now, before we go, I want you to write down this information, because People Incorporated and everything about them with affordable apartments and housing and information you need to know can be found by calling this number, 716-880-3890. Read it with me, Sandy.
716-880-3890. It's like a telethon.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And you can go online at people-inc.org. That's people-inc.org. So that
Phone lines
information
are
is on
open.
the screen. What's that, Fred?
Phone lines are open.
Call us now.
Are you going to sing? Is there going to be a jingle?
You wait, the Variety Club Telethon's coming.
So we will be continuing these important community conversations on WBBZ, produced in partnership with Annette Pender and Buffalo Healthy Living Magazine. Be inspired to make the change, folks. Thank you so much for watching.
This special edition of Your Hometown Health Connection Community Conversations, Heal, Talk, Act, was presented by Buffalo Healthy Living Magazine with support from the Buffalo Federation of Neighborhood Centers, Karamia Pet Resort, Circuit Clinical, Endeavor Health Services, Medical Society of the County of Erie, the National Federation for Just Communities, People Incorporated, Community Services for Everyone, Horizon Health Services, Spectrum Health and Human Services, Best Self Behavioral Health, and WBBZ-TV.